Hi, I am Tara Bentley, and I'm the Executive Director for the Indiana Association of Home Educators, otherwise known as the IAHE.
Hi, I'm Cindy Briggs. I'm a homeschool mom and a volunteer with IAHE.
We're here bringing you this podcast to share with you a lot of great information about homeschooling here in Indiana. This will be a place to learn about homeschooling, find the support you need, all in the Hoosier State.
Each week, we're going to focus on a different topic in the homeschool world. We'll bring you special guests and information that's going to help you on your homeschool journey. So let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Homeschool Indiana with Cindy and
Tara.
And today in our episode 2, we are going to do a little bit like episode 1 because me, Cindy, as being newer to the organization, newer to homeschooling, in 4 years, it still feels very fresh. And this is going to be, again, me interviewing Tara because Tara brings so much amazing experience, and Tara, has to take all my questions all the time anyway, so we might as well put it out there publicly of what I would call her and ask her anyway. So today, what we're going to talk about this episode is let's talk conference. All things conference. What is it? Why do we do it? And if you are just finding us and this is your first episode, you can go back and watch our first episode, but this one is just something that is so special because it is one of the major things that IAHE does each year, and there's history behind it and all the good things. So we're going to ask Tara some questions about conference. And if you're listening now, you're listening to this episode, this is from 2024. So this is early 2024. If you're listening after the conference date, we will remind you where you can go look for current information, because sometimes you'll listen to a podcast and you're like, oh, this is great. And then you realize it's past. So we'll get you that information. Okay. So Tara, let's talk conference this year. Tell me, first of all, let's just get the basics out of the way. When is it?
It is March 22nd and 23rd. Of 2024 in Indianapolis. We're in a brand new venue. It is beautiful. We're at the Wyndham Indianapolis West, I think is the right name. So go check it out. Yeah. But we're looking forward to this new venue. We're in a venue where the hotel is attached, which is really exciting. Walk down the hallway and you're there. It's going to be great.
That is cool. All right. So now another basic question. What is it? Like when we talk about, conference, why as a homeschool family or mom or dad or, grandparents, why should we attend conference? What is this all about?
Well, today people have homeschool information abundantly. It's everywhere. You can Google, you can listen to podcasts, but there is nothing like being in the room with other homeschoolers. Hearing from homeschool speakers, some from across the country who can pour out inspiration and encouragement, basic getting started information, how to teach literature, how to teach different subjects. Mm-hmm. So you walk away equipped with information from the speakers. Hopefully, you get connected with different people. You can connect with us at our booth. And you can shop. That is probably everyone's favorite thing. And even for myself, my youngest graduated in 2014, and I still have to shop. I still shop conference, walking away with great books and curriculum, being able to talk to the different vendors and the resources that they have, and really being able to get the information, because what works for your child may be different from what works for your friend's child.
Yeah.
Getting the best curriculum for them.
That you can go see that. So if I, let's say I have a 2-year-old that I'm not even thinking of schooling right now, would this be something I should attend? If
Absolutely.
I'm thinking about it, like why? What would be a good reason?
Well, it gives you a good vision for what you want to do. And we are already educating our children from the time that they're born, right? I think that's one of the things that so many people don't realize. Education doesn't just take place during the day sitting in front of a book, right? If you can teach your child to tie their shoes, right? If you can teach them how to speak and all the other things, you can also homeschool them. And it just becomes a natural way of life. So we've had people come to our conference before they had children.
Which is great.
And it's great. It's great to have a vision for what your family can look like, what home discipleship, home education can look like. And, I think that I'm going to go back to a comment you made to me the other day. I know you're going to get panic on your face. I
I'm
see
like,
it.
what?
Yeah, we do our recording video. We're not sure if we're ever going to share it with you guys, but we're looking at each
We're
other while
looking at
we're
each other.
recording this. And, it's the word homeschooling versus home education. And
Mhm.
so, Cindy, you had said you don't like the word
Yeah, I
homeschooling.
don't. No.
Well, tell everybody why, because it's
I
interesting.
don't because, well, and you and I talked about this in episode 1, that both of us started our children in the public school environment.
Hmm.
And so in my mind, that was school, the going in, sitting in a desk, teach. So it's just in my mindset. And we don't do school at home. We literally do the home education. It looks different every day. It looks different, every year of what curriculum and how we do things. So yeah, it just is one of those words that I think can hang people up, because if you're new to it, you think I have to mimic school just in my house. And I did that the first year, and it wasn't good.
Well, and we did
Yeah.
absolutely. And most people start that way. We do
Yes.
start trying to duplicate what we know.
Right.
And, I'm a product of the public school system. So are you. And both of our children were in public schools.
Right.
So I went to my first conference thinking, okay, I'm here to replicate that.
Right.
And the first year, the curriculum choices that we made, they weren't the best. They weren't the best for us, but I went into it with the wrong mindset. But we survived. We survived. And we were really trying too hard to duplicate what school looked like. But it's an easier word to say. And so we
It
say,
is. It is.
not that big a
And
deal. We're not going
and
to
the
judge people.
conference and I, Tara and I were talking about this before, but I have to admit that I have not been able to make it to conference because in the
I'm
time
glad you confessed it and I didn't have to pull it
I
out of you.
confessed it. She didn't pull it out of me, because when we started homeschooling, it was again kind of that right at COVID time. And I really didn't know about the organization when I first jumped in. And then by the last year, I wasn't able to make it from some health issues. So, but now I'm so excited about it that I'm like telling everyone how exciting it is. So this is not new though. You mentioned a little bit ago that this is our second one post COVID.
Yes.
But how long have we been doing conference? How long has this been happening with IAHE?
Well, in our first episode, if you haven't heard it, we played a clip from 2015. And I'm just going to tell you how I do math because I'm not good at it, right? I can do math. But in 2015, we played a clip of then Governor Pence speaking, and it was our 30th. So we did 2015, we made it up to 2019, and we did do a virtual conference in 2020. So people, I think we've had some debate even amongst our team. Do we get to count 2020? Did it really happen? I actually think it should have counted for 2 because we were at the finish line of prepping for an in-person event. And as our conference coordinator, Penny Taylor, could tell you, she's convinced that event happened because she did all the work.
Right,
When you cancel an event that size 2 weeks ahead, you've done the work.
right.
So we
It happened.
did the work for 2020 for an in-person event. It would have been amazing. And Penny says she could have walked that hall in her mind because she had spent so much time laying out the vendor hall. And then within 2 weeks, we turned it into a virtual event. So I think we did 2 events in 2020, to be perfectly honest.
Totally counts. Well,
Yeah.
and
So
even now, I think so often people talk about, well, I don't need to go to these things anymore. I don't need to go to conferences or conventions or, what's the real purpose? But I think you said it so well in that getting together with like-minded people getting together. And I mean, Terry, you've told me that you homeschooled for years and there were moments in your homeschool journey where you were like, am I doing the right thing? Is this, is this okay? And I've been there too, where you feel like you're shaking a little bit, but then you come around people, this support system that just raises you up and just goes, yes, this is why I'm doing this. Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. It reminds you of why. It reminds you why you do it when it's hard. And let's
Yeah.
be honest, it's hard. And I always find the winter, most homeschoolers would tell you, especially those of us who live here in Indiana,
Oh, yeah.
January and February are the hardest months to homeschool. It's you don't have the amount of sunshine. Thankfully, I'm looking out my window and
There's
there's
a little bit
sunshine.
today. Yes.
It's a little bit brighter, but the days are shorter and we just get tired and cranky and the kids aren't outside as often. Um, and so heading into March, it's a great way to finish your year, to be encouraged to finish strong and plan for next year.
Right.
And, so I know for me personally, I'll share, and I know other people would say the same thing. So when we decided to homeschool, I went to my first couple conferences, and my mother came with me. And so that was great because when we made the decision to homeschool, I mean, it was financially a sacrifice for us.
Mhm.
And so I'm very, very fortunate that she came alongside of us and helped us out. And she went and attended sessions and listened to speakers with me. And sometimes I would go one way and she would go the other way. And we come back together and compare notes and what did you learn? And so that was great for the first couple years, but it really did make a difference once my husband was able to start coming and he committed to attending with me. And so, maybe another time we'll talk about that more in depth about what conference meant to him and how it changed everything. So if your husband can come, we strongly encourage that. It isn't always possible. It
Right.
was always hard for my husband to get the time off, but it did make a big difference once he could be there with me. And then we were more united in what we want to do as a family.
Yeah. And I think often it depends. And if you're listening to this, you're probably already you've done some research. You're following people on Instagram or Facebook, or, you have found some things, which is a great blessing. And also kind of sometimes can be tough because you might see people doing it what you think is perfectly. I know I would look out there and I'm like, oh, these people have it all together, and oh my gosh, and they know what they're doing, and I have no clue what I'm doing. And if you're that mom or that dad and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't do it like these other people. That's not what conference is about. Conference isn't about trying to do it just like somebody else, right? I mean, it's
Right.
more getting that support. Can you kind of expand on that?
Yeah, it's about finding what works for you.
Right.
And it also is about, to me, it was always very freeing. It is freeing to look at the variety of programs and curriculum and options. Some people, I
Mhm.
mean, that can be overwhelming too.
Right.
And so, for us, our first year, I went with something that was just very, it literally like curriculum in a box. Okay.
Right.
I could not make any more decisions at that time. So like, give me something simple. She's in seventh grade. It has to have a 7 on the cover. I'm good to go. Like that was it. Like
That
no
was
more,
it.
that was it. But eventually we certainly became eclectic homeschoolers very quickly
Hmm.
and figured out that we could pick the best from every little thing.
Right.
And yeah, it doesn't have to look like the next people. It doesn't have to look like, if you're in a support group or, local community and everyone's doing the same thing, which doesn't happen very much anymore.
Right.
But everybody gets to do it differently, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of home education.
Right. And I do tell people, I know last year, I told some people that I did know we're going to conference. I'm like, just remember when you're looking at curriculum, you don't, because that's what I did the first year. I bought it all. I mean,
Yep.
and I, like you, it was like all the packaged things, but it was just like I thought I needed. Again, I was trying to make a room in my house a schoolroom, and it didn't
Yep.
need to be that way. And I finally, when I told my youngest, I don't care if you lay in front of the fireplace with a blanket around your head as you're reading your English book. It's fine. It felt freeing all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, this is okay. And because I had
Right.
talked to other homeschool families. It's the only reason I knew.
And let's not, I want to say there are many students that learn well
Yeah,
and families that run well with a box curriculum. Like, let's not,
absolutely. Oh,
totally dish that out.
no.
Many people that works.
Yeah.
So again, that's the point, is that everybody
That's
can go and figure out exactly what
absolutely.
works for them. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, okay, so like what can people expect? Do they need to come for both days? Can you come for one day or the other? Just kind of the logistics, I guess. What would
Yes,
you
great questions, because if you've never been, it can seem a little overwhelming. So our conference this year in our new venue, um, you know, in our old venues, just to make it really clear, we loved that we were an event for the whole family.
right?
And parents could bring their children, and their teens and grandparents. And post COVID, we haven't been able to be quite that size, and the venue is not as large. So for this year in our new venue, we are a parenting and homeschool conference. So we really hope that couples will come and hopefully come together. So it is parents only. We do have a teen program back this year, and we're really excited about that. So they can register for that separately. But it is a 2-day conference. The ticket gets you into both days. If you can only make it one day, that's okay too, if you have to leave early. But basically, you can attend. The day starts off with a keynote address, one on Friday and one on Saturday. We have amazing speakers for those keynote addresses. And then the rest of the day, there are breakout sessions, workshops, however you want to call them. And every hour or so, there will be, I think we have 8 or 9 choices on every hour. So you can look at the schedule, look at the speakers, pick and choose what you want to attend, what applies to you. And you shop in betweens, or maybe you love shopping. We have some people who come to our conference for years, and they were some of our volunteers. I always found it really funny. I loved listening to sessions. I love it. And we would have some people who said, "Oh no, I'm only here to shop. I'm only here to shop."
I'm
So
only here because I'm going to
it's
find good stuff.
yeah,
Now,
she would
is
spend
there
2 days just walking the exhibit hall and shopping.
and shopping? And is there and we do this live, so I'm going to ask, and Tara might be like, "Oh, wait." Is there a college and career fair also, right?
There
This year?
is. So we are having for the first time a college and career fair. It is actually a separate event at our venue, but it is Thursday night, so the night before. And these are separate, so you don't have to do both. You can only do the college and career fair if you want to, and it's going to be great. And we have some amazing participants coming, and we're looking forward to that.
Okay. Is this the first year that that's happened?
It is. It's the
Okay.
first time.
Perfect. Oh, so people can learn more about that. So if people are like interested now, and we can talk some more, but if they're interested and they're like, okay, yes, I need to register for this, what do they need to do? Like, tell them the steps to get into conference.
So you definitely want to go straight to our website, IAHE.net, and you will find the conference information on there. So you can register, you can find the speaker information, get a look at the different workshop titles and what people are speaking on, and you can make a general plan, right? You don't have to sign up for any of the workshops ahead of time. When you get there, if you feel like you want to go one direction or the other, you just pick and choose where you want to go.
And what happens if people can't make it to conference but want to hear all of these amazing things?
Oh, yes. So all the sessions are recorded. And because obviously, even if you attend, you can't hear everything.
Right.
So you will be able to purchase individual sessions, or obviously the most economical will be to buy the bundle after the event. And we will typically have those up on our website a couple weeks after.
So we definitely still want you there. We want you to come. This is just
Yep.
something happens, you can't make it. You can get you can buy the recordings, but just remembering that finding like-minded people, finding information of where to begin, where to start, how to get things going, making connections around the state, I think is important too. I mean, can you kind of talk about that? Like, I live in Marion, Indiana, but I meet people from all over. Why is that a good thing?
I think it's always great to have connections. I mean,
Yeah,
right? We can just say that. It's just very simple, but it's because it's not just about where you live,
right.
right? So, Cindy, you are speaking this
I
year.
am.
You are speaking. And so, one of the things you're speaking about is being a working homeschool mom,
Yes.
right? And so,
Mhm.
those are the kinds of things that if you are a working homeschool mom and you don't have anyone else who's local to you that knows the same thing that you're struggling with and dealing with, what a great way to get connected. And
Right.
so, to connect with people based on things other than I just know you because you're local to me.
Right.
We have quite a few we have sessions on special learners. So for parents who are struggling with different things, they can get connected there in that way. And so, we have a legislators panel too that people can come and hear from legislators and hear from our team on protecting freedom. Really important session as well.
So yeah, and I think like finding cool things, like as simple as finding cool things at other parts of the state, which is always fun. So, you meet somebody and you're like, oh wow, your co-op does this or you do this individually. Talking to other people, I have found field trip opportunities or things that I wouldn't have known about maybe necessarily where I live. So that's just always
Right.
fun to kind of get to meet people and um and this is a different session, but it keeps coming back in my head as we're talking about this. But last fall, my son and I attended a homeschool. It was a different meeting with homeschoolers, and all I keep remembering is my son saying, "I have found my people," and that still just sticks to my head. And I was like, "Yeah, honey, like I have found my people too." So yeah, it is. Yeah, I think that's one of the thing of just making connections and just knowing there's lots of other people out there doing the same thing, doing the same,
Right. Absolutely.
which is so cool. All right, so let's kind of really quickly just run down again. Tell us the dates again, where they can get information, how to get registered. Let's kind of give just the quick overview one more time.
Absolutely. So the conference itself is March 22nd and 23rd. So that's a Friday and a Saturday. Both days are full days. Thursday night before is when we have the college and career fair, and that information's on our website as well. And the website is IAHE.net. And it's a mouthful. So I'm very pleased that so far we have managed to not mangle
I know, right?
IAHE.
We've done it.
It's hard to say.
And we are going to put all of this in the show notes for you so you can go click on those links and get right to where you need to be. We'll make sure that that's out there. But we just wanted to make sure again in this episode that we told you that this was coming up. Um and
Yes.
yes.
I want to say one other thing because you just never know. So being in this new venue, we are very excited about this new venue. We sold out last year. So that is something to keep in mind. This is a bigger venue. Hopefully, hey, we would love to sell out again. I don't know that we will. But go ahead and get registered. Get registered just in case. We don't want you to miss out. We're excited about this new venue. We're going to get in there and get as many people in there as we can. But it was fun to sell out last year, but we would love to have more of you with us this year.
Absolutely. Come and like Tara said, I have a few sessions. So
Yeah,
come say hi. If you listen to our podcast, we would love to know that. So you'll have to tell us if you see us at conference that you have heard us on the podcast. And we're just so happy again that you're here and that you found us for Homeschool Indiana. And just be watching for upcoming episodes. Like Tara and I told you, we've got special guests coming up. We have some, just great topics, things that will help be useful to you. And as always, if you have any questions or comments or anything, you can definitely email us and let us know, right?
absolutely.
Any closing remarks you want to give, Tara? Anything you want to say to everybody? Put you on the
Well,
spot.
you know, um, come. It's always a wonderful time. It is wonderful just to be with your people, mingling in the hallways, all the things. And you never know what will happen. You know, I'll share a favorite memory. One of my favorite memories of conference was in 2018, which was what we in IAHE world call Snowmageddon. And so we had a blizzard come through Indianapolis on Saturday morning.
Oh,
And I'll tell you what, that was one of the sweetest times of fellowship,
oh,
being trapped in this venue. It was wonderful. And just it is so good. It's a community. It's exciting to be a part of this community. It's exciting to have what for many people, I mean, it's a reunion of sorts as well, to come back together with other homeschool families from across the state. So it's
I'm so
great.
excited for the
I
keynotes. Like, it's going to be a great
Oh, we have
conference.
amazing women. Heidi St. John and Zan Tyler giving the keynotes. They're great. Hopefully no blizzard this year, and it'll be wonderful.
Wow. Thanks again, everybody, for listening to us today and be watching. And as Tara reminded everybody in the last one, be sure you subscribe to our podcast so that you know when they come in, you know when we've released a new one. Our goal is to have them weekly. So you want to just know when we have new episodes come out. So thanks again. Thanks, Tara, for all your information. This was great. And we will see everybody at conference.